But I mean, really nothing cool about riding a Triumph. Yeah, big ack, thumbs up. Good morning. I'm Ack and you're watching Ack Rides. First thing I want to say is I'm late for work and my fuel light has just come on, so I'm going to be even later for work. Yeah, I know it might sound like I'm being a bit jovial, but oh god, I hate being late for work, because you never know how they're going to react here and how much grief you're going to get for being late. And notwithstanding that, how long is it going to take me to get all this guff off at the other end and get changed and get into the office and oh my god. Anyway, the real reason for this video, even though it's a bit ill-timed because I'm late, etc, etc, and panicking unduly, arguably, is I've made a couple of changes. The first one was quite obvious there because I hit it in the face, which was I put a mod on the camera and he misses again. Oh my god, he's under pressure this morning. I put a new mod on the GoPro and it's the new lens mod, so that's given me a couple of things apparently according to GoPro, which I'm excited to see how it's actually going to look when I play this back. And excuse me, sorry for the sniffles. It's been off for a few days. I've been suffering from man flu. Now all you ladies, please, sorry, you can't comment, okay? It's a man flu. You ladies have no idea how serious and how, well, how considerably worse it is than any other kind of flu on the planet. But anyway, going back to the lens mod, sorry I'm a little bit distracted because my cans are on, they're quite loud, I need to turn it down, and the Disco Inferno has just come on, so I'm kind of like hey. Anyway, it gives me a super wide field of view, which I think is like 14 or 12 mil, I'm not 100%. Apparently it gives me excellent stabilisation, but one thing it has given me, now I don't know whether this excuse me, I don't know whether this kind of coincides with sticking the lens mod on, or whether I've just never been bothered enough to go deep enough into the GoPro sub menus to work it out. But I normally shoot in 1080p because I'm not interested in all this 4K rubbish, and besides, by the time you upload everything, you actually get it onto YouTube, all the compression and everything that's happened at your end and then at GoPro's end, sorry, and then at YouTube's end, etc, etc, you're not really going to get 4K. And but anyway, that's a technical argument, I'm not going to get into that now. But the point is, I'm able now, because I used to shoot, sorry, I currently shoot in 1080p 30 frames per second. I can now shoot in 24 frames per second, which is kind of like film mode. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like and how it actually affects the sensation of speed. Because I'm just about to find out, allegedly officer, because he got some wally in a Golf GTI, well it's gone now, but right up my chuff. Another reason for the video is I know I'm new to YouTube and I've only done what, I don't know, a handful of videos now, still don't know what I'm doing. And as Mr. Fish says, he doesn't do YouTube to make any money, because believe you boys and girls, until I'm like, have many followers, I think I've got 5 at the minute, I'm not going to make any money. Besides, that's not my goal, I'm not doing it for the money. Going back to my original story, as Mr. Fish, who I follow, if you don't know who that is, that's Chronicles of Mr. Fish, he does it own for his own sanity, he does it for himself. Talks about his life. He had a few medical issues, what he had about, I think about a year ago, had a few medical issues, and he does it for his own mental health and well-being. All that pink and fluffy stuff that's quite prevalent these days. Not to take the mince out of health and mental health, etc, etc, because I've had an issue with that last year, but that's a story for a different time. It's just that I'm very, very old school generically. So, for example, when I was growing up, this whole mental health thing, it wasn't even a thing. So, you know, for example, myself, when I fall in, you know, to that space about 18 months ago now, it was become almost surreal to be into, well, to get enveloped into that kind of thing now, shall we say. It was very, very good. And I've just realised, because I'm chatting to you lovely people, I've gone past the petrol station. Is he going to get to work? Oh God, this is going to be fun. It just means I'm going to have to slow down a bit and not give it the berries every now and then to get past all these lovely people in their cars. And the real reason for the video was because, again, going back to my original story, you'll find that when you're watching me and in future videos, I don't really kind of rehearse what I'm going to say. I don't really write anything down. Well, there's not really at all. I don't write anything down. So subsequently, I'm starting off on a train of thought. But yeah, it's just you know, yeah. Anyway, remember to go back to where I was. New YouTuber, yada yada yada. Doing it for my own sanity. Really enjoyed doing it. Morning. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my biking history, really. Whilst I worry unnecessarily about being late for work and am I going to run out of fuel before I get there? Oh, that would be a laugh, wouldn't it? Hi boss, yeah, yeah, it's Zach. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I'm going to be about 15-20 minutes late, and so I'm on the A5. I run out of fuel. Can you send someone out to come pick us up, please? Oh my god, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's really not funny. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, me. Oh, you lucky people, me. Oh, there's a gap. I have to take it, fuel or otherwise. And it's clear, and it goes. Yeah, oh, where do I start? I'm middle-aged, I'm fat, and I'm balding. Well, actually no, that's not true, I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Excuse me. And I started riding when I was, I think I got my licence when I was 18. And it's a bit of a weird story with regards to how I actually got my licence and how I got into bikes, really. Going back to 1984, I think, when I was about 13, 14 years old. There was kind of like a street party, because back in those days, you know, when there were communities out in the street, there was a kid at the end of the close where I lived, and his parents bought him a 125 for his birthday. It was his 17th, they bought him a 125. And kind of all like that, there was a whole street thing was out. Is there another gap? Let's have a look. And it's clear to go. Yeah, sorry, so the whole street was out. And, you know, dinner, 17, and I was like, you lucky bugger. You know, your parents have got your 125, and you're not like expecting my parents to get me anything. And I decided I want a motorcycle, so I said to myself, right, by the time I'm 19, I want to have a motorbike. Power of positive thought and all that rubbish. I say rubbish because when you're 14, what the hell do you know about, you know, anything to do with like your mind and the power of it, what goes on, etc, etc. But ironically, a couple of years later, I think it was 86, so I would have been 16. September 86, or was it August 86? And I've actually still got a magazine somewhere at home. What bike? And there's an article in there, and I saw this beautiful machine, and it was a red with silver piping, silver logo. Honda are pleased to announce they're announcing their new bike, something called a CBR 600. If any of you are old enough to remember, the old Jelly Mold 600. And I fell in love with that bike. I fell in love with that bike so much, I actually said to myself, again, power of the mind and how powerful it is, not having a clue, really. I said, I'm going to have that bike. And again, fast forward to my 18th birthday, and I go to Motorcycle City in Feltham again, if any of you are old enough to remember Motorcycle City in Feltham. And I was just about to put the deposit down and buy a new model then at the time by Yamaha, the L350, the RD350 YVPS, which was like, you know, hot you know what at the time. And then a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, I've got a friend who's selling a 3-year-old on a D plate, an 87 CBR 600. I was like, ooh, went to see it, black and red. Oh my god, fell in love. 3.5 grand. How much did it cost me to insure then? Bear in mind this is 1988, so I would have been 18. £701 then. Can you imagine what it is now? Anyway, so there you go. I'm a new owner of a brand new black and red CBR 600. And oh my god, I remember the ride home vividly. Sorry for the interruption. There are times where I have to concentrate so much I can't talk and ride at the same time. So as I was saying, I remember the ride home really, really vividly. Didn't have any PPE, didn't have a crash helmet. Borrowed my mate Mick. It was my friend Mick who introduced me to his friend who was selling his CBR at the time. Helmet didn't fit, oversized, even with a chin strap, you know, full on, full Monty. Every time I'd open the throttle, there we go, light GP, and he's off. Yeah, so I remember vividly riding it home. Oh, the reason why I'm laughing because I'm such an idiot sometimes. I have been when I was younger. Not having a clue how to ride a motorcycle. So literally, every time I got to a straight, I'd just nab the throttle and go wah! Like you do when you're an 18-year-old on your first big bike. I think even then, I think it's only something like 86 brake horsepower, this little 600cc, but bear in mind you've got no experience whatsoever. It's your first bike, it was my first ever bike, I never had a 125. Full licence, straight out and bought the 600. So, open up the taps on every opportunity. And then I remember getting to a corner and, I wouldn't say slamming on the egg, because I wasn't very good on the brakes back then, but slowing really, really down and then going around the corners like Miss Daisy. It was hilarious, but every time I used to throttle on, the helmet used to rise up my face, and I used to have to literally, I remember pinning it on the straight, one hand on the throttle, one hand on the chin bar, sorry, blocking up the GoPro, one hand on the chin bar, to keep the helmet on my head. Oh, what an absolute tool. So that was my first bike, a Honda CBR 600, which I had for, I don't remember selling it, had it for a good few years. And then in my mid-20s, while I still had the CBR, I thought it'd be a good idea to be a dispatch rider. No, it's a second story actually. When I had the CBR, it's a bit of a sad story. And I'll try and get it done quickly because I'm getting off in a minute. So I used to work at a Ford dealership in Slough called City Ford. I was about 21, 22 at the time. And I used to work with a friend there. Still my friend, but he's not there anymore. His name is Peter Groom. He was an 18, 19-year-old kid, and he just bought himself because he was so excited. Because I used to see him every day, we'd always talk about bikes. He used to love the fact that I had my CBR. I want a bike out, I want a bike out. And he went out and bought himself a brand new Kawasaki KR1S. And if any of you actually remember that bike, you'll know that it's, yeah. But the sad thing is, he actually let me ride it one day, and I was out on it one evening, and 2 days later, going through a set of lights, some absolute, jumped a red light, T-boned him, put him in hospital, 2 days later they had to turn everything off because that was it. It was game over, really. Which reminds me, I need to see him. I haven't seen him. Well, I think about him all the time, but I need to go and visit his place of rest, which I've not actually been to since the day that we actually stuck him in the ground or so. But yeah, Peter, mission, my friend. Think about you all the bloody time. Oh, excuse my French. That's about it with regards to me for this episode. Thanks for coming on for the ride, hearing me go out and do bits and pieces on my adventures and talk absolute rubbish. If you're watching at TV, you can subscribe now by clicking the link up here, and if you're watching on an iPad or basically anything other than a TV, please yeah, scan the QR code that's coming up now and you can subscribe. That'll be fantastic to have you along. Subscription is absolutely free and it really does show your support for me and my channel. Thank you very much indeed. On the next one, see you then.